Hey guys, welcome back to the Real Hacker Hours podcast. This is basically where I just do the normal side project work that I typically do. I just hit the record button before I do it. Today I'm going to be continuing with Apache reversing. What I'm going to be particularly looking at right now is where exactly module function hooks are called from, since according to my understanding from what I got from Google, there are various different types of module hooks that can be called from different points. So I want to understand a bit more as to exactly where those function hooks are called from. And yeah, also one thing, this isn't rehearsed at all. Probably going to see a lot of smooth brain mistakes. But without further ado, let's continue. So one module I've been looking at a lot is modalias.c. Kind of just using this as like a base module to like reverse some of the functionality. Here we see that where is it? This translate alias redirect is registered as a hook for translate name, and this fix-up redirect is set up as a hook for fix-ups. So one thing I know for a fact based on previous reversing efforts, translate alias redirect is called regularly. Don't know about fix-up redirect, haven't really looked at that too much with dynamic analysis. So, well, we can definitely get it to call. The question is, can we get it to call with just like the normal request that we've been sending it, or do we have to set up something else to get that working? So let's go ahead and start our Apache server. So yeah. Cool, that's running. And I know I've been saying this a lot, but I really need to script this out. We're gonna attach to all three of the worker processes. One thing I could potentially try is just attaching to one of the worker processes, and killing the other two, and hopefully the process manager doesn't realize that happened and start spinning up other processes. So let's attach to 3826, attach to 3827, and attach to 3828. And I'm going to set a breakpoint for this function right here. Let's first make sure that I can resolve the symbol correctly. Looks like it's in a loaded module address. And it is, yes. Okay, cool. So we will go ahead and set a breakpoint for that. And let's see if we can cause the breakpoint to hit. Firefox is taking a second to load. I'm going to pause the stream as it loads. Okay, it loaded. Let's go ahead. And after sending the request, we see that it is immediately hit. Now, we can use backtrace. So we see that it is ran from this call stack. I'm going to go ahead and save it. We know exactly where it's called from now. Smooth braining this. Cool. And this is for that function. Now, for the next function, let's do translate alias redirect. This one we know for a fact it is hit. So let's view the breakpoints. Wait, no, this isn't. It's this right here. Delete one. And is that my clipboard? Yes, it is. Break at there. And this hook is called from this call stack. Did not copy it. Cool. So, one thing that we do see is all the way up to fix-ups. So, first off, one thing that's just a bit interesting is this call stack for the translate alias redirect has about like 5 to 8, actually, no, exactly 7 function calls deeper into the call stack. I'm just going to go ahead and see if. So, okay, cool. So, from what we're seeing here, it's called from multiple points, which is a bit interesting. Here, we're seeing that it's called from, seems like what it's a lot more similar call stack to what we're seeing here. And let's see, I'm just going to go ahead and save this here. And here, let's do it there and there, so we can save both of them. Cool. I'm gonna go ahead and redo the. So we see it's called twice. I'm not quite sure why it's called twice though. So I'm just gonna go ahead and send another query and see if it is indeed called twice again. First time, it's called from that call stack, which looks to be similar to this one. Second time it's called from that call. Okay, so it's called twice. Okay, cool. I'm gonna do it one more time just to verify. And it looks like more worker threads have spawned. Yes, we see one more. 4239. I'm gonna kill it. So okay, we are here again. 10. Okay, cool. So we see the hook is called from 2 different spots, which you have the call stacks for. I'm gonna go ahead and redo this because I get the feeling that it might also be called from 2 different spots per. Actually, if a breakpoint, delete that breakpoint. Let me set a breakpoint for here. So let's do this again. Backtrace 10 looks to be the same. Cool. And this is called from here. Just doing some like markdown style documentation since that's what I'm used to, even though this isn't a markdown file. Cool, I'm going to try running this again just to make sure. Cool. So what we're seeing here is both of these hooks, even though they're different style of hooks, they appear to be ran from 2 different spots each. Now, one thing to note here is this fix-up there, we see that it is like a fix-up style hook. And we see here it's like Apache run fix-ups, Apache run fix-ups. And here we also see there's Apache run translate name. And we see that for both there and there for the translate alias redirect hook. And here we see that that's the type of hook that's established. So, cool. That being said, let's see exactly how the function works. Now, both of these are called from AP process request internal. Yeah, one thing I just noticed, for the so the hooks are called from 2 different spots. And the hook is called from AP process run internal, running either the run fixups for the fixup redirect, which is a fixup style hook, or run translate name, which is a sorry. AP process request internals. Actually, I'm getting ahead of myself here. So AP process request internal appears to run different functions that will run different hooks. Here we have a translate name and a fixup style hook, and we see it will run either AP run translate name or AP run fixups. One thing that's a bit interesting here is for the function, both of the function stacks that will run it, well, that are like roughly like 7 function layers deeper, it appears to run EP process request internal twice. So in both instances, AP process request internal is kicking off the AP run hook type, which actually runs the hook. Just some interesting thing I just noticed. Cool. Moving forward, let's go to the Apache source. Let's find the function that this takes place in. Access code. Declare int. Server request.c. Let's open that up. And we see server. Wait. Request.c. Yeah. Or could probably just type it in, be easier. And let's see. Okay, so this is the function itself. I believe I looked at this in another video, but it wasn't quite what I'm looking for right now, so I'm gonna re-look at it. So let's just copy this into another one. First thing I'm going to do, AP run translate name. So here we see, AP run translate name is being called. Let's look up AP run fixups. That is also called. Okay. What is AP run does not equal? Okay. Let's see how many AP run functions it has here. 17. There's translate name, map to storage, post purger config, header parser, access checker, force authn. Okay, so what it looks like to here is all of the different not header. All of the different hook types each have a hard-coded function call in here, and there's either a series. Actually, in a second. File work. Yeah, it seems like there's a series of like if-then conditionals that would lead it to call that function. Now, one thing I would not be surprised to see is if in these various like functions like AP run translate name that will run the hooks, is it will in that function itself do a check to see does this request warrant this type of hook, and if it doesn't, just return. One thing I'm going to do quickly because I'm actually curious, where is this function called from? Would not be actually. Okay, cool. So looking at this address, looks like it's actually from HTTP. Oh, wait, no, I need to do the memory address. Okay, so it's actually compiled with HTTPD, so it is in the source code for it here, not in a separate module. Let's go ahead and find where this function is established. Not there. Could be one of those like weird functions that's established with a macro, which is what it's looking like. Since I'm not httpd.export request.c, I'm not seeing a function declaration here. I'm gonna. What happens if I just instead of Apache run translate, just like run translate? Pro entry. Apache probe. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna try. Where is this called? That seems interesting. Wait, what is this APR hook link? APR, which, oh wait, no, this isn't request.c. This is not request.c. That was just a separate text file that I copied and pasted the AP process request internal function to. So let's look at this APR hook link. So we see here translate name, map to storage, check user ID, fixups, type checker, access checker X, and some of these different, and APR hook run first. So it looks like here is where like the macros that are being used that actually like defines the like APR run translate name or whatever hooks are. So interestingly enough, if this is true, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 different hook types. I'm gonna go ahead and do a quick Google search to see if that like if there's a document that says like, oh hey, there were like 13 different hook types for Apache. How many different types of Apache modules? Provided 13 predefined hooks, and yeah, okay, cool. You can see right here 13 predefined hooks. So this right here, I'm guessing, is probably where the these are just macros that actually define the various like APR run hook type function. Let's see APR hook type. I'm curious if APR implement hook run first. Translate name. Is this defined? Define and include aphooks.h. Let's take a look there. Include Apache hooks.h. Hang on one second. Okay, I'm back. So looking at this macro, it appears that what it does is what called the Apache runtime implement external hook. Oh, this function right here, I'm not going to fully say it out. Which, I know I said this before, but what the Apache portable runtime is there are certain functionalities that Apache will need to do, like loading a module, or in this case, calling an external hook, that depending on like what environment running on, like Linux, Windows, or something else, that process will be a bit different. So the portable runtime, there will be one for like Windows, one for Linux, one for whatever, that will effectively have that functionality for that specific environment already encoded in and handle that. So cool. That being said, so we know how the actual cool. So what have we found out? We found out where specifically the well, let's go through and see if that AP process request internal is the only place that they're called from. Actually, I'm gonna save this so I have all of the different hook types there. Apache request. Actually, we have this right here. Wait, no, this is it. This is the Apache process request internal in a single text file. That way I can like just control F the writ super easy. And let's look for translate name. Actually, AP run. No translate names there. Map to storage. Check user ID. Fixups is definitely called from here. Type checker. Access checker. Access checker X. auth checker. Does not appear that insert filter is called from here, so that's a bit interesting. I'm gonna add a note here. Not called. Let's see if create request is called from here. Create request is not called from here. Okay, cool. Post perder config. Let's see what this is called from here. It is called dir walk stat. Not called. I'm just gonna copy that there and force often. Okay, this is called. So 10 of these 13 functions are called from this context of this function. 3 are not, which means that there's some other spot which they are not called from, or that they are called from. One thing I'm also curious of, these 10 hooks that we know are called from this function, they might also be called from somewhere else. This is evident from the fact that there are 3 hook types that are either called somewhere else or not called anywhere, which kind of doesn't make much sense. Luckily, we have the source code here, so we can just do a grep to see where they're called from. ap run request.c. ap1 dirwalk stat. So this is called dirwalk stat, which is just like the first one I looked at since it's like right there. We see here that it is indeed called in request.c, which is this file right here. I'm going to go ahead and see where it is called from. It's called from this function, which is ap directory walk. And so yeah, this function appears to handle like what is called a directory walk. I'm not quite sure what that means from the perspective of an Apache server. However, it appears that the dirwalk stat is only called from the ap directory walk. So I'm going to add a note here. Actually, let's call 3 times. Just to make sure that I'm not completely smooth braining this, I'm just going to copy it to another text file and just see if the 3 calls end up there. Didn't get the entire thing there. And yep, it is called 3 times, so it is only called from and also if we opened up the binary like Ghidra, Binja, or Ida or something like that, we could easily tell this information too. Let's look at create request. Get the feeling it's going to be a similar situation to dirwalk stat, but just different function that calls it from. Request protocol.c. Okay, this is a bit interesting. It's called in protocol.c, request.c, and h2 request.c, and http request. So let's go ahead and called from. Let's go through. Don't care about those. This is just binary files it's present in. This is just effectively just like giving the function alias. Don't care about that. Don't care about those. It's just binary functions. Don't care about that. Do care about that one. Don't care about that. And don't care about those binary files. So I have 4 lines I care about. Does it make sense? Called there, called there, called there, and called there. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So it's called from these 4 separate. Actually, no. It's called. Actually, yeah, those are 4 separate files. I was misreading that for a second. Cool. Let's see where it's called from protocol.c first. Request. Oh, not request.c, since that's what we have. AP run create request. And this function is make sub request. Make sub request. Cool. Let's look at protocol.c. Where is that? Server protocol.c. Cool. AP run create request, which is called from AP Apache read request. Okay. I think it might. The reason why it's calling AP run create request from like a function called AP read request is it could just be generating like the response to it. For a second, I was just like thinking like, wow, would that be called from there? Okay, AP read Okay, cool. Next is h2 request.c and http request.c. Let's oh, these are from specific modules. .c. Modules http. Oh, run create request internal redirect. Cool, that's where that hook is called. And lastly, there's another module that calls this. H2 request.c. And h2 request clone. Cool. Let's just jot that down. http2 h2 request. Cool. So we know the 4 spots that create request hook is called. Now, one thing that's a bit interesting is 2 of those spots are modules. So you have like a module calling a hook, which will call functions from other modules. But considering that these modules appear to be specified around like HTTP functionality, it isn't too far-fetched to do that. And lastly, we have insert filler. Or it's not filter. No, sorry, not filler, filter. And AP mod cache, mod auth form. So from the spots I see, this call I care about. this call I care about, and this call I care about. So it's ran from server config.c modules and two modules that not sure what the functionality of mod. Oh, probably some like caching functionality considering it's a mod cache. Cool. So let's just document where they're called from. Called from. Just jotting down like the file path, so I don't have to do that later. I'm going to go into each of those functions and see exactly which function calls them. Mod cache. And all of these are server, and request.c is the one. Server request.c. Cool. So let's go into these three separate files and see where they exactly are called from. Config.c, ap run insert filler called from ap invoke handler. Page makes the most sense. We only use it when you're going to run the request. Okay, that's interesting comment that adds some clarity. And next, let's check out GPD modules. AAA and mod auth form. .c. Cool. Let's look at it here. Called from authenticate form authn. Cool. And lastly, mod cache. Modules cache mod cache.c. No, not there. Yep, this is the one spot, and it is called from the cache quick handler. Cool. Okay, cool. So we found all the spots, the three hooks that were not called from that AP run process internal request. If I recall correctly, is the name. I'm just going to go ahead and check real quick if these other 10 hooks are called from anywhere. Request, that's not cool. That's not. Could probably just write a quick bash script to see. Run. That looks like it's still call. Okay. Okay. AP run. Type checker. That's a comment, so that's good. Access checker. This is called a ton. I'm gonna make sure that this is called enough times in here. AP run access checker called 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this looks like it's called outside of here. Access. AP sum often required. Okay, cool. So we see there. Since this is kind of just turning into like repping through source code and it's been like 30 minutes, I'm going to cut it off here. See you later.